You're going to love this. Just love it.
Oh, that's my Twitter. Hello! It is I'm here. Oops. Oh gosh. What's the point of setting everything up ahead of time if I'm just gonna break everything the second I go live? I'm here. I'm ready to do some writing, hopefully. Oh goodness. I closed something I actually need. Alright. Let me just get a Word document open here that we can do some writing in. It's Thursday afternoon. I actually slept last night, so that's good. I'm feeling slightly more organized than yesterday, but usually by the time I get to my last writing slot of the week, which is this one, the organization is running thin and the chaos is strong. So, pardon me for being slightly scattered. I also had to put dinner in the crock pot before I started. because I'm making a type of mac and cheese that basically like slow bakes over the course of 3 or 4 hours. So I just had to get that started before the stream, and I'll probably, when I take my breaks, I'll have to pop away and stir it. So I guess I'll have some updates on how that's going. What is this? Story 3 of 22 stories in 2022. All right. Perfect. Excellent. We're here. So I've talked a little bit about this project in the past, but for the shorts that I put on my blog, oh gosh, I guess I should start at the beginning. I'm so bad at this. And I've clicked on everything but what I need to click on. So if you head on over to my blog, which is at megancutler.net, for anyone who might be lurking who wants to check that out. Every other Monday I post a blog post, and every other Monday I post a free short fiction. Often they tie in with a project that I'm working on, or a character that is like a main character featured in my multiverse, or something like that. Some of them don't have direct novel tie-ins. Some of them are just little fun things that I've written. There are a few serial shorts over there. My most recent one is still the Phases of Dreamers Do Lie, which actually goes through a scene from Bruce Campbell's Soup. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for the cheer. How are you? Good afternoon. Hope you're feeling well. Best of luck on your sprints and clicky clogs. Thank you so much. I am having a better day today than I was yesterday. I did actually, like I said, I did actually sleep, so that helps. I'm just getting ready to embrace the chaos of today's prompt. How are you doing, Bruce? Thank you so much. Yeah, my latest short is still The Phases of Dreamers Do Lie, which sort of takes one scene from the very first early, really bad draft of the novel all the way through to a polished, finished scene that got sent out along with the manuscript when it was published. So you can take a look at that. My latest update on the blog is actually my thoughts on my matcha advent calendar. Sorry, my matcha advent calendar that we talked about back in December. But I do have a freebie coming up. Let me just speak on the back side, and I'll tell you what freebie is coming up on Monday for you to take a look at. I can't show the back end of my site on stream, but I can certainly take a peek and tell you what's coming. Sorry, it's a little bit slow. So the freebie Monday that is coming up this week is actually A Wordless Bond, which is the first short story that I wrote on stream way back in November, when one day on a whim I just decided to stream myself writing something, and I had no idea how it would turn out, and now here I am. 3 months later, still streaming. So that's kind of cool that story that we wrote for the first time together hanging out is going to be on the blog. Clacks, darn autocorrect. I figured you meant clicky clacks. No worries. It's, it's all the same realm of sound. Doing well, about 30 minutes until I'm off work and headed home. Nice! I hope the last 30 minutes of your day passed swiftly. I hope that we are able to help out with that. This is the last thing that I'm gonna write this week. Tomorrow I'm actually gonna be doing formatting for the paperback of Duality, which is my latest pre-order. I guess I should talk about this on stream more often, because I don't even think I mentioned it yesterday. But this is my latest release coming out on February 21st. It's the 4th book in the Celestial Serenade series. I'm going to be doing the paperback of this tomorrow. I sort of have all the interior formatting for the digital one is done. It's uploaded to Amazon. It's ready to go. I just have to take that format it for paperback, which is a little bit different. Basically, if you're wondering, like, what's the difference between a digital book and a physical book, in a digital book, you don't really have pages. You sort of have one unbroken line of text, and you put hard breaks in for the chapter breaks. You can't eat the digital book. That is a good point. It is much harder to eat the digital book, because it doesn't have physical form. And your Kindle probably wouldn't taste good. Not that I'm saying paperback books taste good, but I bet they taste better than Kindles. But when you do a paperback book, you have actual pages, and so you have to make sure that the work is flowing between the pages, not just breaking at the chapters. And of course, I also put a little bit of extra images into the paperback because they don't display as well on Kindle. So I'll be doing all that tomorrow. It's really fiddly, finicky work, but it's not like I won't have to be using my brain the way I do when I write. So this is the last thing I'm going to write for the week, is this short story. Also, hey Tempest, what are you up to today and how are you? In case I didn't say that a minute ago. So I'm looking forward to this. I've been writing so many action scenes, you guys. I know I mentioned this on stream yesterday, but I wrote an action scene on stream yesterday. I wrote 2 more action scenes this morning. And my brain is like totally done with action scenes. So I'm actually kind of looking forward to getting to write something that's a little bit of an interlude and doesn't necessarily have to have action in it. It may. I don't entirely know what I'm going to write yet, but it's not required to be a sword fight or a gun fight or a magic fight or a fight at all. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah. So also, something kind of cool is next week I'm going to do 2 novel writing streams as usual. But on Friday, I'm going to stream trying to make the 8th cover in my Eternity's Empire series. If we actually just kind of pop over to my general Amazon page and take a look at one of my other books, one of my other series, as a matter of fact. I'm not sure how well you guys can see this, but I'm getting ready to release the 8th book of this series in, I guess if I go here, they're actually all right here. I'm getting ready to release the 8th book in this series, The War for Freedom, and I'm going to be actually trying to make the cover for it on stream next Friday. So if you're interested in seeing a look at something that's not writing, that is something that I sometimes do on a regular basis, you can come check that out. I don't know how well it's going to go because sometimes these covers come together really easily and sometimes they take forever. So we'll see. We'll start it Friday morning and we'll just see how long it takes. Writing action sounds difficult. I'm just imagining how hard it has to be to maintain a tempo in Word format. It's definitely challenging, and what I try to do is imagine the choreography of the action scene first and try to get it sort of out of my head, just a picture of what's happening. And then one of the things I do during edits is I will go back and sort of shorten or lengthen sentences based on how I want the flow to feel. I actually wrote a blog post about this a little while back because you can make things seem more intense or dramatic sometimes by having short clipped sentences, right? Versus long flowing ones. So it's definitely, and I definitely build them in layers. Like I tend to get some kind of foundation of the action down. Here's some idea of what's happening, and then I'll go and sort of build off of that, put more specifics in, more description, try to make things more dynamic or more interesting where it feels like there's too much of the same thing happening. So it's a lot of brain work for me to do action scenes. And so I'm definitely, normally when I'm writing the climax of one of my books, I am not necessarily writing the climax of another, because I work on 2 projects at the same time, right? So normally if there's a bunch of sword fighting happening in Damarin's world, there's hopefully like conversations or diplomatic meetings or something else, something more emotional happening in my Eternity's Empire series. And so I get a little bit of a break moving back and forth, but it just so happens that the way my schedule has worked out is that I'm writing the climax of this entire series, Eternity's Empire, this just massive chapter that was... Actually, this whole book has been a lot of action, but this one whole chapter that was basically entirely action scenes, because it's the final battle of the entire series of 7 books of build-up, at the same time that I'm writing the epic climax of Visions Unlike They Seem, which also has been building up to this big fight for 3 books now, and sort of slowly simmering up to this confrontation for 8 books. And so there's just a lot of epic clashing happening in my writing right now, and it's been a very challenging week. Next week, I'll be past at least the crisis point in the Eternity's Empire series, and I'll get to have a little bit more relaxing falling action to write, which I'm looking forward to. Even though the climax of Damarin series, the Visions Unlike They Seem, is going to take me most of 2 weeks to finish. So it's it's very interesting, but for all that it's challenging, Roaming Witch, hello, how are you? What are you up to? Popping in to say hi before I leave work. I'll rejoin when I get home. Great to see you. Glad your workday is ending. Hope that you're able to get home quickly and rejoin us. But for all that said, it's been really challenging this week. It's also really rewarding to be at the point in a series where it feels like everything is finally coming together. Everything that I've worked hard putting together over the course of this time frame is starting to make sense, and I'm starting to get some payoff from it. So that's really, really nice as well. Like it's kind of like when you get home at the end of a really long, exhausting day, but you think of all the things that you've accomplished. So it's sort of like that. Like I've been doing a lot of really heavy brain work, but it's that good kind of exhaustion because I'm able to feel like, hey, all of the agonizing I've done over this, all of the back and forth, and with Eternity's Empire as well, like a lot of editing has already gone into that series, so all of those sort of sleepless nights and blood, sweat, and tears are definitely feeling good because I'm seeing the path to the end. So yeah, sorry, tangent, but it's nice. But I'm looking forward to having a bit of a break from that this afternoon to write something chill and fun. So yeah. Also, I think I mentioned when I bought these, my nice little half gloves, hand warmers. Terminal Habit, hello, welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for the follow. How are you and what are you up to today? So I mentioned when I bought my little hand warmers, because they keep my fingies nice and warm while I'm typing, and I loved them so much that I decided I wanted to get more colors. Right now I only have black, gray, and red, like a dark, dark red. So I wasn't able to find the same, like, knit type pattern, but I found these, which are very similar in style, and that these just came today. So I've got another set. I'm looking forward to giving them a try. I'm wearing the black today because they match my my Jack Skellington. You guys can't see it. My Jack Skellington shirt. So I'm wearing the black today, but I have a lighter gray now. I have a green. I have a brighter red. Oh gosh, those almost look orange in the light. So I have like a bright red because my other ones are like really dark red. And the whole reason why I wanted this specific pack is now I have blue ones. Blue is my favorite color. So now I have blue ones, so I'm really excited about that. So those came today. I'm looking forward to wearing some of the new colors next week. things that writers get excited about. Keyboards that make clicky-clack sounds and colorful things that keep your fingers warm while you're making those clicky-clack sounds. So yeah, I'm super excited about that. Those came this afternoon at lunchtime. So I'm looking forward to adding them into the mix. Oh my goodness. Okay, so it should be in the stream title, but the prompt for the third story that we're doing is called A Year Without a Summer. And it's based on there have been times in the past when there's been some volcanic explosions. Actually, I think we can look it up. I think it's called the Year of Darkness. Year of Darkness. Is it 1818? Aha! Here we go, The Year Without a Summer. So it's based on this, which is an actual historical event. 1816 is known as the Year Without a Summer because of severe climate abnormalities that caused average global temperatures to decrease. And summer temperatures in Europe were the coldest on record. This resulted in major food shortages. And one of the reasons that it was caused was because of an eruption, a volcanic eruption that occurred. Evidence suggests the anomaly was predominantly a volcanic winter event caused by the massive 1815 eruption of Mount Tambora. The eruption was the largest in at least 1,300 years and was perhaps exacerbated by the 1914 eruption of Mayon in the Philippines. So 2 big volcanic eruptions. And basically, there was no growing season. So, historian John D. Post called this the last great subsistence crisis in the Western world. The climatic aberrations, sorry, I almost said climactic, which is different. The climatic aberrations of 1816 had their greatest effect on New England, Atlantic Canada, and parts of Western Europe. And so we won't go through all of this, but there wasn't really a growing season, so there was definitely trouble feeding the population, and I believe that the sun didn't really shine very much because there was a lot of volcanic ash in the sky. So this is actually a very fascinating phenomenon that I've done some reading about before. I'm not necessarily basing my whole prompt on this, but this is what the prompt is based on, is this idea of a time frame during which something that you expect to happen, a season that you expect to happen, simply doesn't occur for whatever reason. And as you guys may or may not know, for my 22 stories in 2022, I gave myself a couple really loose rules to work with. And the primary one is that I want it to fit inside my multiverse, and I want it to focus on characters or situations that do not feature the major characters that appear most often in my multiverse writings. So last week we did Standing on a Precipice was the prompt from last week, and we did a scene which included Damien from Island of Lost Forevers, who is a main character in that particular novel series, but not a character that crops up a lot in the greater sort of multiverse that I write in. The Island of Lost Forevers, the Mystical Island trilogy, is a part of my multiverse. It does fit in. I know where. It's hard to understand where right now with what I have published and how the timeline works. But I felt okay writing a scene about him because he's not one of my major multiverse characters. And today, I think we're going to do a story that ties in with another of my novel series, which is Dreamers Do Lie. So, actually, if I go back to my my Amazon store. So we're going to do a story that ties in with this novel series of mine, Dream Things True. The first book is called Dreamers Do Lie. It's sort of a high fantasy reimagining of Dante's Inferno. The idea is that the two main characters, Armand and Kaylee, are in hell when they first meet, and Armand realizes that Kaylee is an innocent soul, or an undamned soul, who has been accidentally or mistakenly somehow assigned to hell, and in order to help her get free, he has to undertake a journey deeper into hell in order to get Kaylee out. If you've ever read Dante's Inferno, the idea is that Dante, the poet and / character, because it's it's a story about himself, traveling through the various layers of hell. And the idea is that Dante has become so misguided on the path of his life that the only way for him to ever gain salvation is to undertake this treacherous journey through the depths of hell and record what he has seen. And after basically crawling down through the center of the earth into purgatory, and then climbing the mountain of purgatory and actually glimpsing into the layers of hell, Dante is able to basically free himself of the sins of his life. And so the Divine Comedy, which is written in 3 parts, covers hell, purgatory, and heaven. It's a very interesting read. Dante's Inferno is the most famous of the 3. It's the first movement. It's definitely the most interesting of the 3. The 3rd book gets very heavy into some 13th century Christian philosophy and definitely lacks a lot on the science. Like, there's a part in the book where he talks about why there are dark spaces on the moon, and we of course know now that there are dark portions on the moon because they're craters from impacts. But in the book, he has someone from heaven basically say that it has to do with light refraction or something. Something it's not. So there's definitely pieces of it haven't aged well, but Inferno is very interesting to read, especially to see how the philosophy of the time fit in with what Dante believed were the worst things a person can do, and how a soul was punished for the things that it had done on Earth. Which is a long walk to saying this book is very loosely based on Dante's Inferno. Unfortunately, this is sideways, but you can see I even made this nice little map of my hell to put in the book. Dante's hell has 9 circles. Mine has 7. If you're interested in learning more about that, there's some nice blog posts on my blog which talk about sort of how I translated my hell from Dante's, how Dante's inspired mine, but it's not a direct one-to-one translation, obviously. So yeah, that's sort of the setting that I'm wanting to work with today. It's much more of a last week we were working sort of with a real world situation that had a little bit of magic this week. I'm going to be doing more of a high fantasy setting. It takes place in a place with its own map. Actually, there's a map of the lands that we're going to be working with in this book. This is sort of the setting that I'll be utilizing today. And I actually want to go in and take a look at my notes, a little bit of my setting notes, to make sure that I'm setting this sort of in the proper place. I apologize if I'm rambling. Hopefully this isn't too boring. This is what I always do I always sort of go through a bunch of things when I'm getting ready to write these shorts, but I usually don't do them in front of other people, so hopefully this isn't too long a walk to get to where we're going. I tried making my map with those free websites, but my map making skills are impressively horrible. I feel you. I tried a bunch of free sites too, and I didn't like how any of them looked, so I actually hand drew these maps. This one was drawn a lot on my iPad, actually. But Ghost has a really cool program, and I have to ask him what it is that he uses to make his maps for Winds of Chaos. It's not a free program, you do have to buy it, but it's very nice, and I might try using it in the future, because apparently you can use the assets in there to create maps for commercial purposes like novels, so I might try that. But I hand drew this one. This one was all me. I'm pretty happy with it. I'm pretty proud of it. It was quite a major undertaking. So yeah, I'm actually gonna check some of my setting notes on here. I don't know that I'm gonna flash them. I don't know that I'm gonna flash them on screen just because there are some minor spoilers in here. Let's see. I'm looking for... my sort of history brief. And so basically what I'm thinking is, okay, here, I do have my history. So basically, Dreamers Do Lie takes place at a specific time frame in this particular world's history, and prior to when it takes place, very, very early on in the world's history, there basically was a war between the gods, because basically the gods, referred to as the old gods in the book, at one point lived among their creations. And what sort of happened was that one among them, Lucifer, became a little bit too ambitious and sort of tried to turn the mortal world against his siblings so that he could seize sole control over the direction of the development of their creations. And the rest of their siblings, the rest of Lucifer's siblings, were kind of like, we're not into this. So there was a giant war, and in order to end the war, the old gods created hell, threw Lucifer in there as a prison, and then removed themselves to the realm of heaven, which they created to sort of look down on the mortal world and watch it. And so what I want to do is, for the Year Without a Summer prompt, is I want to basically write something that's set in the time frame right after the old gods have just tossed Lucifer into hell, and sort of removed themselves from the world. And because when I was thinking about what I wanted to do with this prompt, a lot of times writing prompts come down to interpretation and how you want to choose to interpret the prompt, which to me is what makes it really interesting, is seeing how each different writer will interpret a prompt and make use of that prompt and sort of and sort of develop their idea, their core idea that they start with. And so the first thought I had for the Year Without a Summer was actually kind of cheeky, because I have lots of stories that take place in space, or where characters spend most of their lives in space or traveling through space. And so my initial thought was, well, there wouldn't be any summer in space. So it would be really easy to do a space-related story of like someone's first year living in space or whatever, because there wouldn't be a summer. But when I thought about it, it felt like a kind of cheeky, cheaty way of interpreting the prompt. It felt kind of like I wasn't really committing fully to doing the prompt, right? Like I was sort of circumventing the prompt by taking an easy way out. So instead, I started trying to think of places in different settings of mine that may have had, right, Space Summer, a saga about teens going on a summer vacation in space. That is actually a really cool idea. I actually really like that idea. And I was actually just thinking, I think it was last night, or maybe it was this morning. I have this idea that I want to do something with someday, but it's basically, the idea is the night before a wedding, and it's a family that's basically like rented a bunch of rooms in a hotel so that they can be at the wedding the next day, and the story takes place entirely within the hotel and interactions between the family the night before the wedding. But because I write sci-fi and fantasy, it would probably end up having some kind of sci-fi fantasy twist to it at some point. But I like to take ideas like that, like slice of life summer vacation, but it's in space, you know? I love ideas like that. But I did decide to go with a little something else for this prompt, just because, like I said, it kind of felt like I was cheating. And sometimes when I'm doing prompts, I do like to be a little bit cheeky and just interpret it however I want, because whatever, it's just for fun. But I did come up with another idea that I liked, so I'm going to use second idea and save, you know, maybe I'll do another year without a summer prompt, which involves, you know, space. But, yeah, so I'm kind of working in that time frame, sort of right after the gods have just left the planet. Lucifer has just been kicked up into hell, and I figure that there's probably going to be some disruption to what's happening on the planet in this area, this land, normally, because there's just been this major upheaval of basically they had divine presence among them for some time, and then they didn't anymore. I was told at one of my rejections that the humor book market is kind of on the decline. Yeah, I mean, I also don't tend to write real world stuff, so it would be really out of the blue. This is sort of more of a marketing thing, but it would be really out of the blue if I wrote a kind of like slice of life humor book that had no science fiction or fantasy in it at all and sold it under my regular name, like, because it would just be very sore thumb out of place among the rest of my work. But turning it into a fantasy story gives it that little something extra, right? Or turning it into a sci-fi story. I already have a plan for a spin-off that takes place in the Celestial Serenade universe that's kind of like sort of like a heist to redemption sort of story that started out as just a slice of life real world story, but I decided that it would be much more fun if I set it in a sci-fi setting and gave it sci-fi elements and made it a sci-fi story, which is one of the things that I like about writing in general, is the diversity of how you can take an idea and transform it into something else. I also would say that I don't put too much stock in when people tell me, oh, there's no market for that, because I was told that there was no market for adult fantasy as Game of Thrones was becoming the most popular TV show on TV. There's always a market. It might be a small market, but there's always a market for something. And you never know what's gonna take off. But I do think I probably can't get away with doing just a plain Jane slice of life story that doesn't involve the genres that I actually publish in. Who knows? I kind of wish I did YA or MG fantasy, because most agents seem to want that. Yeah, young adult seems to be very popular at the moment. But, I mean, there's writing to trend, and then there's what I do, which is writing whatever I want and then trying to find the people who like the same things I do. There's been plenty of really successful authors. I mean, Neil Gaiman talks about this all the time, where he didn't know there was a market for his stories. He just kind of wrote them, and it turned out people liked them. So you never know. And that's part of why indie publishing, self-publishing is, for what reasons I'll never understand. I mean, personally, I think that young adult is a completely marketing created category. Like, most of the people who read young adult books are adults anyway. And marketing departments ruin everything. But I think it's just people just like the tropes that are in young adult stories, I guess. To me, I don't care necessarily what the age of the protagonist is. I just want to read a good story. So, but yeah, so I want to take a quick look at luckily I've written this down so I can get myself a time frame. So Lucifer's siblings eventually overcame him and banished him from the mortal world into the realm meant to be his prison. So, I'm gonna need a name or three because I'm writing in a time frame where I don't have any named characters. So I've done this once before. Where's my name generators? We're gonna pop over to Valkyr. Hello! Thank you so much for using your Prime subscription on me. How are you? What are you up to? I haven't talked to you in so long. Also, hopefully you don't find this stream much more dreadfully boring than the other streams you watch. Okay, so I have a hot minute and saw you're streaming. Well, thank you so much for stopping by. Yeah, I'm writing a short story that'll go on my blog eventually. I've just been going off on this tangent about the history of one of my fantasy worlds, the one that is in my Dreamers Do Lie novels, because it's going to tie in with that. And I'm just going to get myself a little cache of names that I can use, because I've sort of established what the setting and time frame for the story is. And now I just want to have a couple of names on hand so that when I start my sprint timer, I don't have to stop and look up names. I always enjoy a peek in the mind of friends. Nice! Well, I'm certainly rambling enough about what goes on in the crazy writer brain today. That's for sure. Sometimes I hate that they don't just have generic fantasy names in here. Do we have human fantasy names? No. Not doing elf names because there's no elves in this fantasy world. We have names for all the gods and goddesses. Moon rabbit names? What are moon rabbits? That sounds so cool. Non-magic usernames? What does this mean? Oh, this is like... Okay, it's like muggles. Alright. just want, like, I just want human fantasy names. Where have those gone? Oh my god, there's so many options! It's just like the original fantasy name generator, yo. We have fantasy plants, fantasy trees, and fantasy professions. And fantasy foods. Time period names? No, it's gonna give me time periods. Oh my gosh. This site can basically just write your... This can basically just write your names for you. Oh, here we go. There's Dungeons and Dragons names, and then there's human. This will work wonderfully. Let's see. I like Strarkath. That sounds like a good, strong name. I like Strarkath Jesto. I'm gonna mix and match some names here. I actually like the name as well. And this one, Ren. Suzmok. Serpent Hunter. Let's look at... Glag. What a name. I like Hunshana. You'll probably notice that I'm not using the names directly. I kind of use them as a guide for like sounds, and then I just adjust them until they sound the way I kind of want them to sound. Ooh, Dead Tide is a cool name. Tofu. first and last names for everyone. Okay, I think that's probably a good enough, because I'm thinking of a council that I kind of want. I kind of want there to be like a council of people, so I have a storehouse of names that I can use. So I think I'm gonna start probably turn on the sprint timer and force me to do a little bit of actual like writing now that I've spent almost an hour developing this idea. Oh, look, it made Annalise one of the names. I like Amber Jill. Alright. I'm gonna leave this here so that I can just pop it up on screen. Actually, I have a copy of it on my computer. Let me just open the actual map. There we go. In case I need a reference, I have my actual map there, so we can look at that if we need it. It's a little bit bigger. Alright. So let's stick 20 minutes on the clock. And do some clicky clacking. Decide which name I want to start with. This is a very weird song. Hang on. I realized I need one more thing before I start this. Actually. Do I have it in here? I don't think I ever wrote this down outside of the novel, so I have to actually pull up a copy of the novel. Sorry. Okay. Can't show this on stream because it would be massive spoilers, but I need a description. on stream either. Okay. I have what I need. I'll do clicky clacks for real this time. break time! Sorry about that, I think I blew past the end of the timer. Ended up not needing the description that I thought I would need. I thought I was going to spend a little bit more time in the exterior of this setting before I moved to the interior of the setting. But I didn't, so that's fine. I'm really happy with how this is going so far. I think it's working really well. It has the kind of feeling that I want it to have, if that makes sense. It fits in really well with the setting that I'm working with. So that's nice. I may use another description from this. Just need to find it. So yeah, I think this is going pretty well. I don't know how long it's going to be. I'm definitely going to need at least one more sprint, maybe two, to get through it. So we'll see. You guys have no idea how many things I have open on my desktop right now. If I actually do this, you can see how many windows I have open right now. It's a little bit crazy. There's a bit of a blizzard going on right now. Oh no, Roaming Witch, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to hear that traffic was crazy, but I'm assuming this means you're home, and I'm glad that you're home safely, and hopefully warmly, and that you've come back to join us. So yeah, this is this is what I've got going on my desktop right now. It's a little bit crazy, just because I'm working with a setting that I haven't worked with in a long time, so I'm having to open a bunch of my old notes to get myself familiar with it again. I did not get a chance to watch the Star Wars thingy yet, because I was completely, brain exhausted last night, so I kind of just mindlessly drifted through my evening last night, drank some wine and passed out. But I did save it. I know that Ghost looked at it. I did save it because I'm gonna watch it tonight, hopefully. If not, then tomorrow morning. Just because I was so out of it. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna comprehend. I actually tried to read a book last night, the book I'm reading for pleasure, and I had to reread the chapter this morning because I couldn't. My brain just could not hold information. So I promise you, I have it saved. I'm ready to go with it, but I didn't get a chance to look at it yet because I just thought I'm not gonna enjoy it. I tried to do. I did not. After I got my writing finished last night, I'll be honest, I pretty much was just like, all right, my brain's done now. I love snow, but not driving in it. I feel you, because especially in the area where we live in now, people can't handle snow at all. It's like they see a snowflake, they forget everything about how winter works, and they just go slippy sliding all over the place. It's not mandatory. I was just curious how you would find it. No, I definitely want to watch it. I just neither Ghost nor I did much, because Ghost didn't sleep well. Neither of us slept well on Tuesday night, so we both were just kind of like, let's drink wine and watch. We were watching some Kim's Convenience on Amazon Prime because it's it's just lighthearted. It requires no brain power whatsoever, and we just watched some episodes of that, and then we were like, all right, let's pass out. And I remember too, because Ghost gets up earlier than I do in the morning, and he'll always come in and sort of kiss me before he goes to work, but I'm still sleeping, so some mornings I remember it more than others. And this morning he asked if I was feeling better because I was feeling kind of grody yesterday. And my response from like a half awake state was, I'm still sleeping. So I texted him when I woke up and I was like, yeah, I feel much better. Sorry, I was sleeping when you talked to me before. Because I just have a feeling, I won't know until he gets home and I ask him, but I have a feeling my tone was very much like, excuse me, but I'm sleeping right now. Because I don't do mornings, so yeah. But I'm assuming that what happened was like he kissed me, I responded like in a zombie mode, and he figured, oh, maybe she's like coherent enough to answer, and I was just like, I'm sleeping, goodbye. But it was definitely one of those nights where I was just like, I should really gather the energy to do something, and then I was like, it's not gonna happen. I've expended all of the energy I have for today, and I just... The work task that I had written down for tomorrow is probably just gonna have to wait until next week, if I'm honest. So, I guess one of the benefits of working for myself is I can decide that something can just wait. There's no one that I really have to justify it to, but it means that there's also no one to help me get that done except for me, so I get to do it next week. But whatever. I think I'm gonna make some tea, and I think I'm gonna make a matcha today, so it won't take as long as it took to make yesterday's tea. I'm sort of slowly working my way through the second helpings of all of the matchas that were in my advent calendar, and I'm just sort of pulling them at random from the thing, and just, I'm not doing them in any particular order. And the one I pulled for today is the orange dreamsicle matcha. So I think I'm gonna just go, I have to go check on the aforementioned mac and cheese. So I'll give you guys an update on how that's coming together. I might have to add a little bit more liquid to it. I go check on my mac and cheese that is baking away in my crock pot, and I will come back with some nice yummy matcha, and hopefully I don't know if we'll finish this in one more sprint, because I'm not entirely sure where it's gonna end. I just have a sort of vague idea of what I want to do with it, but we'll do another sprint and we'll do some clicky clacks. So if anyone needs to grab anything, hot drinks, especially Roaming Witch, since you just came in from the cold, if you need something hot to warm you up, and then we'll get back to it. I hope this hasn't been a too all over the place stream. I know there's been a lot of me like looking things up and and rambling about things, so I apologize if that hasn't been if that hasn't been what you guys are looking for, but we're definitely into the productivity part now. Milk and Oreos! Ah, that sounds perfect. I love Oreos. I like the Oreo cookie part of the Oreos rather than the cream part of the Oreos. Fun fact. I don't think I've had Oreos in years. Oreos are dairy-free, which is nice for me because they're one of my favorite cookies, and that means I can still eat them. We try not to buy junk food too much either, but we've kind of been, since COVID started, we've kind of broken that rule a little bit more often than we used to. So I do have a few. I had Rice Krispie treat last night. I haven't had one of those in a while, but sometimes when you're stressed, you gotta eat the things that make you happy. Or when you're tired. So enjoy those Oreos and milk, and I will be right back. I return. When you hear your cat making all sorts of weird noises, so you go and check, turns out he's just singing in the bathtub. Oh my goodness! That sounds adorable, though. When you walked in to check what was happening, did he give you a look like, what are you doing? I'm performing here. This is a private performance. So, update on the mac and cheese. It's going well. I make this, it's lactose free. I use oat milk and an egg as the base. So it basically sort of, the oat milk and the egg and the cheese all sort of form this sort of like custard. And then the moisture from that is what cooks the pasta and turns it into like this really thick, cheesy mac and cheese. And so I have to keep an eye on it because the trick is to put enough liquid in that the liquid and the steam will cook the pasta, but not so much liquid that the pasta basically turns to mush. So some of the pasta that was on top was getting like crunchy because it wasn't getting as much moisture, so I just had to mix it and push that all down to the bottom so that cooks. But the pasta that was on the bottom is really well cooked already, so I think it's gonna be perfect. I can add a little bit more liquid if I need to, but I really don't want to need to because I don't want it to turn to mush by the end. I love my crock pot. Have I mentioned that I love my crock pot and I cannot live without it? Kind of. He turned and went, brr? What? Oh, hello, carry on. Just doing a thing. Yeah. Nice. I know that some cats can just be like, because I love it when people take pictures of their cats and their cat is just like, what do you think you're doing taking a picture of me? So I love it when cats have those moments where like they're doing something and the human interrupts and the cat is just like, no, this is unacceptable. Oh, I wish I could have a cat. I wish Mr. Pepper wasn't allergic to all the cute things. I have so many pictures of my cat. But cats are so adorable and they do so many adorable things. No wonder you have a ton of pictures. I figure I would have been way more successful at Instagram if I had a cat, but I don't have a cat, so I feel like I don't have things like that are interesting to take pictures of. I feel like I can only take so many pictures of my keyboard and my coffee cup and my computer screen before it's like, nobody's gonna pay attention to this anymore. So I sort of gave up on Instagram. I can show you, I haven't posted there in like a year. Where is it? Do I even have my Instagram bookmarked anymore? This is like, when was I? August of, I think this was, I don't even think this was 2022. I think this was 2020. Oh, maybe it was 2021 because that's how smoky it was. Over this past summer. I thought about starting an Instagram, I thought about starting an Instagram just dedicated to my cat, but man, the work, I struggled to keep up with my work repair Insta as it is. Yeah, I know, I just ran out of things that I felt were interesting to post. Like, there's a picture of me that I guess I liked, and that's mostly it. A picture of some tea that I made. You'll notice that most of these pictures are drinks that I made or food that we ate. There's a picture from a D&D group that hasn't met in a year and a half because we've been too busy. there's a picture of me furiously trying to do something on Facebook. Some plants that didn't make it. Ghost Pepper being a cutie patootie. Is that Mr. Ghost? Yes. This is something that he wore. So this was when we were during heavy lockdown. My husband was doing a like a joint class with one of his coworkers, and he introduced himself as a true visionary who had 2 PhDs, one in medieval literary studies and another in rocking out to metal. And this is what he wore to class that day, was his Iron Maiden shirt and his suit jacket. So, that is the lovely Mr. Ghost. Rocking it out during the heavy lockdown. Does he actually have a degree in medieval studies? I think he doesn't have a PhD, but he does have a history, a degree in history. I'm not sure if it's specifically medieval studies, but he does have a history degree. I should ask him that. He does not have a degree in heavy metal, sadly. He would love to, but he does not. That said, he is a huge Iron Maiden fan. He introduced me to heavy metal, which is one of my favorite things in the world now. And we were actually fortunate enough to see Iron Maiden during their Book of Souls World Tour. I guess like 4 or 5 years ago now. We also saw Judas Priest. Judas Priest actually, we had to drive to Vancouver to see Iron Maiden, but Judas Priest actually came to our town, which was super cool. Metalheads, yes! We recently got to see Ghost and Volbeat in concert last weekend. That sounds amazing! We definitely have not seen a heavy metal concert since COVID hit. Our friend Valkyr, who actually popped into the chat briefly earlier, was trying to coordinate going to an Unleash the Archers concert with us. I think it was supposed to be in September, but it just didn't work out with Mr. Ghost's school schedule. There was just no way for us to get to Vancouver and back in the time frame that it would take to like accommodate his schedule, because he couldn't really. The problem is, like, all the heavy metal concerts in Vancouver are on Thursday nights, and when you're married to a teacher who has to be at work on Friday and it's a 4-hour drive, it just doesn't. We did it once for Iron Maiden, and we've not attempted it again. But yeah, these are some cute alpacas that live here in town. We got to feed them. They're super adorable. They are at one of the cideries that we like to visit. Nothing exciting has happened in my life, really, since we saw these alpacas, so... I know, alpacas are so cute, and they're so chill, too. Like, they're just the chillest dudes. So yeah, this was my Instagram account. I didn't do much with it. So I stopped posting there. But if I go back far enough, it's mostly just pictures of my tea advent calendars. And that was Christmas breakfast from, I think, a year ago. I think that was 2020 Christmas breakfast. So, you know. It's all mostly tea pictures. And somewhere in here, this was from, oh gosh, this was from 2019. So maybe this is from 2019 too, when I did Inktober. This is the man himself that I'm writing about every Monday and Wednesday. This is Damarin. This is Left Side Damarin. Oh, thank you so much, Roaming Witch. I do not think I draw well at all, and in fact, I haven't drawn much recently. But I did try. I think I only got partway through 2019's Inktober because we were actually moving at the time. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to pair each of the drawings with a clip from my writing. And so this was a description from Damarin's first book where one of the main characters, Clara, is watching a video of him, and she gets this impression of Damarin that from the right side he seems like very severe and judgmental, but from the left side he seems like a really cool dude. Did you get nervous about trying to draw your characters? It scared the hell out of me trying to draw mine. I must get them right or I will forever bring shame to them and their non-existent families. It stresses me out trying to draw my characters because I can never make them look the way I want them to look on paper, and I have a very clear idea of how some of these people look in my head, and I always struggle with getting it onto the page. When I was doing Inktober, which I tried to do 2 years in a row, I was trying to be a bit more forgiving with myself and just accept if something had a couple of imperfections. But I don't know. I never like how my drawings look. But I don't know that I get nervous about it. I think I get aggravated. Like, I get frustrated that I can't make my fingers do. And I know it's because I don't draw very often. I really should draw more. I should practice. It's something that's been on my, like, want list for a long time, but I just never have the time to do it. I also really liked this one. This is Greg from the same novel series. Maybe hire a forensic sketch artist. Hey Squanchy, how are you? That would be interesting for sure. I don't know how much they cost though. Yeah. He's a bit older, bit of an older gent, but I like him. And I think I have one more, set of Inktober pictures somewhere. This is Damarin in a corset. Because male corsets are sexy, you know. This is me working on writing notes on a ferry because a writer never stops writing. This is when I was on vacation and I was writing notes for a novel series. This is that time that I actually got to meet a for real octopus at the Seattle Aquarium. I don't know why I've gone off on this tangent when I'm supposed to be writing, but this is what's happening right now. The famous kill me now look from my husband, yeah. This is one of my proudest achievements, was that I got to see a for real octopus. You can tell how excited I am that it's actually happening, because every other time I've gone to an aquarium, the octopus is always hiding. Do you mind if I share a drawing I did of one of my characters? Go for it! If you have a link, you can post it in chat, and or you can also post it in the Discord. There's a spot for art and stuff in the Discord if you're on there. Let me just bring up for anyone who isn't in the Discord but would like to be there, this is the Discord I share with my husband, the Pepper Patch. There's a special section devoted to writing and tea chat, but you can use the whole Discord wherever you like. I thought I had there's a sugar glider. I thought I had more Inktober in here somewhere, but I don't know, maybe I didn't. There's Damarin trying to steal my tea. That's a really, really old picture of Ghost that I'm not supposed to show people. Yeah, and that's my entire Instagram. That's everything that I ever felt was interesting enough to post on Instagram. Wanted to ask if you have a good proofreader and do you know the prices or if you do proofreading. I usually do proofreading mixed in with, so when I do edits for people, I usually do line edits and developmental edits, which involves, I also do proofreading as part of that. I don't know if I know anyone who does specifically proofreading or what their prices are. But I could ask around because I do know other writers that use services that aren't mine. I think if you're just looking for a quick proofread, some people do it cheaper. The people who hire me usually want like the full everything. So it's slightly more expensive because I'm doing all the things. It's in the I made this section. Do you want me to show it on stream, Roaming Witch? Because I will show it if you would like. Oh my gosh, that's such a good picture! I love it! Look at this cutie! Oh yes, I adore him already. I have a couple more drawings from when I did. There was one year where I managed to do Inktober like for realsies, and I did the whole month. So this is where I stash my drawings. I can show some of them. I haven't drawn anything. I have this was like the last thing I ever sketched, which is a little picture of Dahmer smoking from behind, which kind of apparently also looks like an elephant. He has all the angst and horrible backstories to make any fantasy reader very happy. Nice. So he looks sweet and cute, but he's tortured by his past. Here's the hand drawing of the map that you saw. The digital version of the map is here, and the hand drawn version is here. So yeah, that's sort of you can sort of see the evolution of it. I sort of took a picture of it and then retraced it on my iPad when I did that one. I'm trying to find some more of my other Inktober drawings. Here's the hand-drawn map, the other map that I showed you guys, which is the Hell map from the same series. Here's the left side Dahmerin. And his friend, Greg. Let's see. I sort of had to give up. I gave up halfway through drawing someone because I just didn't have time. I really like this one from the year before. This is my character Gaia from Eternity's Empire. She's a sweet little boop, and I love her to death. And then this is also from the novel that I'm writing now on stream. This is Rose. So I just kind of tried to do simple little headshots. Drawing people is definitely one of the hardest subjects to draw. And I love her. Yes, Gaia is the sweetest. I won't show them all because there are, you know, like 30 of them. But I'm happy with how some of them came out. But yeah, what I need to do is just practice again, because Inktober's good because it makes good practice. This is Domeran's boyfriend, Crescent.
Yeah.
Just being a badass and not giving a shit. There's another Domeran. I was trying to work on emotions, so he's angry in that one specifically. You nail side profiles so well. Thank you! I find side pictures are the easiest to do. This is one of the few, like, full-on... His head is still turned, but he's almost full-on. I find these much harder to do. I also really like this one of Sesha, who is Domeran's doctor. He just seems like super chill and like he's having a casual day. And then this is one of my favorite ones from when I did the full Inktober. This was from 2018. This is my character Thora, also from Eternity's Empire, and I drew her from the back, which I found very, very difficult. But I really, really liked how it came out. Her sword is a little bit crooked, in all honesty, but I still think it's really good. So, I forgave myself for her sword being crooked. The doctor thing, yeah! Sesha's a winged elf, so the story that I'm writing on stream usually, not today, but the one that I write mostly on stream is it's like a high fantasy novel, but it takes place in modern day, and so yeah, Domeran's doctor is a winged elf, and he has big black wings. So yeah, just a couple things that I sketched, and then I never finished this. But this is another. I draw Domeran a lot. Can you tell? There's another picture of Domeran. So smoking, cause he's bad boy. So yeah, those are some of my better attempts. I have a lot of drawings that I've just sort of stopped halfway through because I hate them. So I need to practice more. I feel like this is way beyond my level. I'm not that good an artist. But yeah. So that's a look at my Instagram and my art skills. I think I hear Mr. Pepper being home, so if you guys will pardon me, I might pop away, might go into AFK for just 1 minute, and then we'll come back and I promise we'll do more productivity. It took me forever to get it all right, and the whole time I'm blushing with those eyes staring back at me, the whole time judging me. Well, I think you did a fantastic job. I feel like it's way better than... I definitely can't draw people, like, full face on to begin with, so I think you did a great job. And thank you for sharing it with us. I'm just gonna pop AFK super quick. I know I haven't done productivity in, like, almost an hour here, but I'm just gonna say quick hi to my hubs. Let them know what's going on, and then I will do some more productivity. We'll see if we can finish this scene in another sprint. Well, thank you. I appreciate that you enjoyed it. Like I said, I don't do art very often, and I don't show it very often, but I do want to get back into it. It's, you know, I want to actually learn how to do it better, and I need to do it in order to do that. So talking about it encourages me to bump that up on my to-do list. I shall be back in a moment. Mr. Pepper has been greeted. He is making himself, I think, a peanut butter and banana sandwich. Or just some peanut butter banana toast. Sorry, my mat that's under my computer got moved. Alright, so what we are doing in today's scene is that there has been a phenomenon where there is a year without summer. Summer has not started. I guess they're kind of more talking about spring, but still, it'll be a year without summer. And they believe it is because the gods have recently left. They have thrown the world into an imbalance, and since there is not going to be a growing season, and since this was unanticipated, a council of advisors to the kings of all the kingdoms have come, and the chieftains and the rulers of all the kingdoms have come to this central temple where the gods used to dwell to determine what to do about the fact that winter appears to just keep going and isn't going to just turn into summer magically when at the blink of an eye or the drop of a hat. So we're going to rejoin these people in their discussion. So let me just, since it's been a hot minute since I worked on this. Let's put 20 minutes on the clock. And get you all some clicky clacks. Ooh, hang on. In my world, the people just straight up killed the god, and now there's a guy trying to revive it. Ooh, that sounds interesting. I went over this earlier, but basically, one of the gods, Lucifer, sort of tried to take over. And so all of his siblings went to war with him, and they cast him into another realm, which would become hell, which is his prison. But then they removed themselves to heaven so that hopefully there won't be war anymore. But they've sort of left this imbalance in the land, and they're sort of having a volcanic winter sort of situation, and people are trying to figure out how to survive. You can tell that my brain is just kind of like done because I'm not spelling well. It's the Ghost Pepper one! Hello, honey. How are you? How is your sandwich slash toast? I don't know if you made it into a sandwich or not. Tasty. Nice. Nice, nice. Just got like 4K from my fiance's parents as a random gift. Oh my goodness, that's amazing! There's lots you can do with a random 4K, I will say.
brought levity to each other's lives. But there's a lot more to life than that, and I realized that in these last few years. And we just became very different people.
It's break time. I didn't even notice. I think I'm very close to the end, so I might actually just write the last couple sentences here. I just kind of need to decide where I want to end things. Did 2K words want to vomit? Why, Tempest? Is it because you don't like them? Because they exhausted you? Yeah, I know how that can be. Take a break, get some rest, have some nice, refreshing grapes in the form of wine. That's what I did last night. I told everyone I was having grapes. A healthy snack. It was wine. To decide how I want to end this. I have to make sure I did everything that I wanted to do. I name dropped everyone that I wanted to name drop. Definitely developed everything the way I want to. I always feel with these shorts like I want there to be some point to them, so I'm just trying to make sure that I have that everything is that I've made the point that I want to make. And now I just have to decide where I want to end it. Woof, you're here! We're almost finished. We're just wrapping up. You might like the VOD of this one, though. Because we're working in the Dreamers Do Lie world. Doctor's office computer went down, so I was there forever. Oh no, that sucks. At least you're home now. Like I said, I think you might like the VOD of this one if you end up going back to view it. There's a lot of discussion about some Dreamers Do Lie lore and stuff. This is a short story. The prompt was A Year Without a Summer. I'm just finishing it up. I think I might put 1 or 2 more sentences in here, but I'm just finishing it up. And then we'll probably do a closing chat and a raid. But I think you'll like some of the discussion that happened earlier on if you end up wanting to watch the VOD. That reminds me, let me finish this up, but I have been posting some select VODs to my YouTube channel, so I will talk about that in a moment. Alright, I think I'm going to end it there. That is 2,425 words. A bit, again, a bit shorter, a smaller number of sprints, and a bit of a shorter thing, but I feel like this is a coherent whole. I'm really happy with it. I think it does what I wanted it to do. I certainly think it satisfies the prompt of, you know, a year without a summer. And it certainly fits into my multiverse. The wide ghost okay is your new favorite emote. I'm a big fan of the pepper hands. I'm afraid I can't say the same thing. Kids were turkeys, so I'm tired. Isn't that always the case, though? I feel like you say that almost every day. Anyway, as I mentioned, I just want to let you guys all know that I don't have a ton of stuff here. So it's not like, hang on, let me see if I can get the proper URL here for, everyone to visit. I think this will work. Yeah. So as I mentioned, I don't upload a ton of VODs. Oh, the synonym of the day is firm. Yeah, I do know which one is firm. It would be this. Solid is a synonym of firm. I don't upload a ton to this channel because honestly I do kind of write spoilers on stream, and so I'm kind of happy that they disappear a little bit into the void ultimately. So I don't save all of my VODs. In the future I may save more of them as I work on more projects on stream. And I might save specifically informational VODs and stuff. So as you can see, mostly the two that I started with were my making of a digital bullet journal and my setting up my undated planner so that you guys can see how I organize things. I also included the tea chat from back at the end of December. If we do future tea chats, I will of course upload them to the YouTube channel as well. But I also uploaded, I just uploaded this last night actually, story number 1 of 22 stories in 2022. It covers the project when I first started it. It shows me writing the first story. I've already pulled the VOD for the second story, and I will pull the VOD for today's story. So I'm going to upload all 22 of the 22 stories in 2022 to YouTube so that people can go back and watch them anytime they like. Because I know that my VODs only stick around for about, I think it's 6 days, so like a week or so. So that way, just a record of the project. I thought that that would be kind of cool. Because there's not spoilers in those. They're just fun little side projects. So that way, if anyone is interested in anything that I've done in those non-spoilery streams and you'd like to go back and watch them, and of course, if you want to use the sprints, you can use them, or you can just skip past them to the parts where we talk about everything. Also, I think the story ones are a bit more interesting because at the beginning of each one, I talk a bit about the concept behind the short and why I've decided to work on it and how it sort of ties in with the project that it ties into. So I think that they're possibly they're definitely different from my regular novel writing sessions, but also maybe more interesting. I don't know. You guys will have to tell me if you think this was a total disaster or actually interesting. Thanks for reminding me about VODs. I have a D&D episode to download still. You should also download The Sucker for Love from last week if you haven't already, because we should upload that somewhere. It was good. We should save it for posterity. Yeah, so if anyone is interested in any of that stuff, it is over on YouTube. I will keep updating more of them and keep that up to date. And like I said, I don't think I'll ever post all of my VODs. I don't think I'll ever post like things that have novel spoilers in them, but I will definitely post some select things for anyone who's interested. We will never say it was a total disaster to your face. I mean, you can. Please do, because I'd like to know. Also, I was thinking, I don't know if anyone wants to chime in on this, but if you guys have a preferred time of day, morning versus evening, that you think is a better time for me to stream, please let me know. A lot of the times I base when I do my streaming sessions on my outline. But sometimes it's not necessarily a big deal to stream any of the scenes that I'm working on. So if you guys think that my streams work better in the mornings Pacific time, so if you like my 10 a.m. Pacific time streams better than say my 2:30 streams, please let me know, and I can start keeping that as a consideration when I'm planning my stream schedule. I've tried to sort of make note about what times of day my chat seems most active, but also it's hard to gauge because I know everyone has other things going on, and there's always other things going on Twitch, and so I don't necessarily have a full picture just looking at any one thing. But if you guys find my streams more useful in the morning because you're writing more then, or you're more available then, or whatever, let me know, and I will just keep that in mind. Sometimes it's going to be dictated by my writing schedule, and there's nothing I can do about that, but right now I'm trying to kind of do an even split between mornings and afternoons, but if you guys like mornings better, I can tend to do more mornings and fewer afternoons, or vice versa. So, let me know, you know? And if you don't have a preference, let me know. Feedback good. I know that Ghost can really only come to most of my afternoon streams, so... But maybe he prefers if I do my streams when he's not home, because then he doesn't have to listen to the clicky clacking. Who knows? So that was story number 3 of the 22 stories in 2022. I'm super happy about it. I'm actually happy with how all 3 of these have turned out. Sometimes I don't feel really good about my shorts, but I'm actually really glad I decided to do this exercise because it's sort of renewing my vigor for doing these prompts, which I was sort of falling by the wayside on. And it's nice. It's a very interesting creative endeavor, and I'm glad that you guys are on the journey with me. I can watch either morning or evening, but I can participate in the evening ones. Okay, good to know. I'll keep that in mind. Like I said, I've kind of been trying to do if my schedule works better with specific scenes, because there are some scenes that are too spoilery, I feel, to write on stream, even if people aren't necessarily reading them. And I'm not at the point yet where I want to blur things out. So if my schedule dictates which scenes are better to write, then I usually go with that. But I've run into a couple of cases where it's like, well, I could stream writing any of these. And then so I've been trying to balance between morning and evening kind of evenly. Like last week I did more morning streams, this week I did more afternoon streams. So just want to let people know that you guys can chime in on that. Is that feels bad, man, because I don't want people reading certain things? I just have to say that, well, if you come in here and you're like, I want all the secrets and I want to read all the spoilers, and then one time I mentioned something about something I wrote on stream and you were like, I didn't read it because I didn't want to know, and you got mad at me. So you gotta pick. You gotta pick if you want the spoilers or not. You can't have it both ways. And that was an actual conversation that took place between me and Love. I'm not known for being consistent. Fair enough, fair enough. It was a stream that you specifically watched too, and I mentioned something that happened in the scene, and he was like, I didn't read because I didn't want to know, but then as soon as I mentioned it, he wanted more information about other things that were happening in the tale. Oh my goodness. So yeah, that was today's short story writing session. I had fun. I hope you guys had some fun also. I used all but one of those names that I set aside at the beginning of the thing, so that's kind of cool. That was worthwhile to have that little bank of names on hand. Let's see who is streaming. I will load me up here and try to mute me before you hear me double. And let's see who we can potentially raid. Sorry that you came in at the end, Woof, but like I said, hopefully you'll enjoy the VOD if you would like to. Let's see. Ooh, our friend Sloth Siren is streaming. They haven't streamed in a while, and they've started to come back lately, which is nice. Let's see. Sable Aradia is on. We might drop in on her. I I don't get to raid her very often. Oop. Let me just load up her stream and see what she's doing. Have a good night, Roaming Witch. Again, thank you so much for dropping by. I really appreciate it. I hope that that blizzard doesn't bury you in too much snow, and also that you don't have to drive in it again.
Office hours where subscribers will get extra editing and critique time. So yeah. Imagine me chanting this like shots. Oh, okay, Pride, I will look quickly.
Okay, it looks like she's just getting started, but it says in the title of her stream that she's going to be doing sprints today. So let's drop in on Sable. She's actually one of the reasons why I started streaming. She is actually one of the people who manages NaNoWriMo events in my local area. I met her on the NaNoWriMo regional forums. And this past year in 2021, when we started communicating for our region on Discord, she mentioned her personal Discord, and when I visited, I noticed that she was a streamer and that she was connected with many other writing streamers. And prior to that, it had never really occurred to me to try writing on stream or to stream my writing sessions. And I watched a bit of her. I lurked in her streams a bit. I lurked in some of other people's streams, people that I've now communicated with and rated, of course, and talked to and been inspired by. So let's drop in on her. She also is one of the organizers for Game of Tomes, which I don't know much about. But she has explained that it is a writing event that takes place in conjunction with National Novel Writing Month. And I think they have one coming up in April, a sort of light version of the event for any writers who are lurking who might be interested in getting involved in that stuff. So we're going to hop over there so that if people would like more writing sprints, they will hopefully be available. As always, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today, for dropping by, saying hi, lurking, any and all of those things. My right tip for today is embrace the chaos. This actually comes straight from you guys. Sometimes writing is structured madness. If anyone else talked about or did the things we did, people would think they were crazy, but because we're writers, society accepts it. So embrace those curveballs, celebrate them, see where the story takes you. You know, obviously don't let your characters run completely rampant, but sometimes it's much easier to embrace where the story is leading you and what's going on than it is to despair or fight it. Because you got to get some enjoyment out of the writing. Otherwise, what is the point, really? I will be back on Monday morning, bright and early. I'll have a schedule on the Discord and below. It's probably going to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday next week. Monday and Friday morning for sure. And Wednesday, I will get back to you. Take care, my friends. Have a good weekend.
Fox is honestly procrastinating. That's okay. Remember the self-care mafia. You can get a break. You deserve it.